Sippin' and Strummin'. Whoa, whoo, yeah.
Howdy, sippers. What's up, strummers? It's Brad back with episode 10 of Sippin' and Strummin'. Hola. Hello. Bonjour. Buongiorno. What's good? What's cracking? How you doing? I think the weirdest greeting I ever heard, I remember this was 25 years ago in Pittsburgh, and I was driving through Braddock, Pennsylvania, and it's where all the steel mills used to be, man. Used to be the most important part of one of the most important cities in the world during World War II, making all the steel for all those planes and tanks and ammo and all that stuff. Now it's just kind of like, it's kind of deserted and a little depressed, and I don't know, it was crimey. I got a good friend that lives there now in a nice little artist community building, and he's fine with it. I'm sure it's changed a bit, but back then. But it was summer, and I don't know where I was going, maybe through Braddock to get somewhere else. I remember, and I pulled up to a light, and there was an old gentleman, and he called out to another gentleman. He said, "Hey, what your meat look like?" And I thought about that weekly for 25 years. What's your meat look like? I don't know what that means. Like, it can't mean what it means. Like, maybe he was a doctor at one time, and he ran into, maybe an old patient of his, because this was an older dude. I don't think he was working. I don't know if he ever had, actually. But maybe he was a doctor, and he was just hanging out there on the corner waiting for the bus or whatever. He's maybe selling some, prescriptions. Maybe that was his retirement. He was selling some prescriptions to people. But, he wanted to know what one of the dude's meat looked like. Maybe he worked at Giant Eagle, maybe in the deli department. Maybe, how you eating? What's your meat look like at home? That's important. I don't know. Or perhaps it's just the crudest, most brilliant greeting that I've ever heard a man give to another. What does your meat look like? Because after all, if the meat looks good, life's a breeze, right? Everything's good. If your meat looks bad, you got some problems. I'm sipping on Bushmills here, some Irish whiskey. Sipping it right out the bottle from my man Henry. This was reportedly Jim Morrison's whiskey of choice. No, there are not too many songs. I can't think of any other two songs that make me want to drink whiskey and maybe get belligerent and get in a fight more than, of course. Roadhouse Blues. Dang. I've busted some cue sticks in the old pool hall to that song. Also, I just got in it down about an hour ago. Took a look around, see which way the wind blow. With the little girls in the Hollywood bungalow. Lucky little lady in the city of lights. Or just another lost angel. City of night. City of night. City of night. Oh, city of night. Yeah. Yeah. I say all that about fighting and stuff because 2 weeks ago, some of you probably have heard this. 2 weeks ago, Wednesday, tonight, 2 weeks ago tonight, I was home from work. I got home. It was probably around 11:30 or 12, and I was catching the end of the late hockey game, the playoff game. And it was quiet. My apartment in my neighborhood's really quiet. And I heard this repeating sound, incessant sound. I don't know. It's an odd sound. I can't place it. I don't know what it is. I live between two thoroughfares, so there's bars up there and there's restaurants and bars that way and stuff. But this is a little quiet pocket, so you'll have groups of loud revelers, rolling through on weekends and stuff. But this was different, and so I look out the window and I see this guy, and he's throwing something against a big fat tree across the street. Just boom, and then it would fall in the cement on the sidewalk, and he'd pick it up, boom, throw it, and I thought it was hilarious, and I watched for about 3 minutes, and he was drunk, and he would hit the thing, what turned out, I believe, to be his phone. He would hit the phone off the tree, boom, and then it would fall, and he'd kind of like, when he bent down, he'd stagger a little because his balance wasn't great, pick it up, throw it against the tree for 2 or 3 minutes, and I thought, that's hilarious. I watched, and then I figured he'd get bored and he'd move on. Then he put his attention on the car that was right next to the tree, and he just starts whipping his phone against this car. That's when I called the police. My car is right across the street in front of my apartment, and he's on the other side of the street throwing it at a car. So I called the police, and I say, hey, there's a drunk guy vandalizing cars out here, whatever. And they're like, okay, what's he look like? We'll send somebody over. Then I watch a little longer, and he misses the car he's throwing at, and it goes out across the street under the car behind mine. So he comes across the street now, and I go downstairs out on the porch, and I go down the steps, and I say, hey, man, and we're face-to-face or whatever. But he's not seeing me. He's glazed over, he's drunk. And I go, hey, man, you're probably going to go to jail. The police are coming. What are you so mad about? What's going on? And he doesn't see anything. And I'm kind of blocking him from his phone, but I haven't touched him. And then he goes around me and picks up his phone, and he walks into the street. And I say, don't throw it at my car. And he throws it off of this blue car next to mine. And he was at an angle, so it bounced, like a fucking cue ball out in front of my car. So I go out in the street. I said, hey, don't throw that at my fucking car, man. And sure enough, he picks it up and he wings it off my window. So I go over to him, and I don't have my hands up or anything. I say, hey, man, don't throw it at my car, whatever. And I'm keeping a bit of a distance, and he puts his arm up with his phone, so my hands go up to protect myself, and I get in my stance. And he whizzes the phone. My friend Avi pointed out it looks like it bounced off my balls, but I think it bounced off my stomach. I don't remember it. And then he charged me. Looking back at the tape, though, he didn't know what he was doing. But so I just used his momentum. I took a few steps backwards, and I threw him down and got on top of him. And I cracked him once in his jaw, and then cracked him another time under his left eye and opened him up, and he was bleeding. And I had a knee on his throat, upper chest throat. And he kind of flailed a little bit, and I just controlled his wrists and everything. It was clear that he wasn't going to win. And so what I did was I just started patting his chest and like rubbing his chest, and I got down close to him. I said, hey, buddy, I said, I don't want to hurt you anymore. I said, you can't win this. I don't want to hurt you. Why are you so angry? What's going on? Why are you so angry? And I'm like rubbing and patting his chest at the same time. And I think maybe that got through to him, or it was the combination of the 2 knuckle sandwiches, and then the kind of patting and gentling. I don't know, but he just went limp, and his eyes kind of just looked up at the sky, and the cops came right then, and then a couple people came out of their apartments and said, yeah, we saw the whole thing. He's right. The guy was vandalizing my car, and he attacked him and stuff. So I didn't press any charges. The person whose car took the brunt of it for like 2.5 and 3 minutes of the phone, they pressed charges against him and stuff. And then I came inside and poured a big vodka, and like an hour later, banging at my door, and I go downstairs, and there's a flashlight going through the window, and it's the fucking cops again. And they're like, hey, he's in the hospital. He might spend the night there. We just want to bring this by in case he tries to pursue any action or something when he gets out. And it was a victim report claiming me the victim, and this guy, Francisco was his name. Francisco, that's a fun name, as the perpetrator and stuff like that. Just, I guess, to cover my ass or something. And then one cop said, just next time, just call us. And I said, I did call you, man. I said, you guys came pretty quickly too, but in the meantime, I had to go down and protect my car. And he said, well, it's only property. Motherfucker, I know it's only property. It's my property. What if you don't come, which is not unheard of in Chicago, and this guy breaks my window or does something, and he goes away, and I'd have no recourse but to pay for $1,000 for a new window, or however much that costs, and we never find this guy. No insurance. No, he's not responsible at all. I don't know about you, but I'm not going to let that happen. I watched him through the window enough to know that he was drunk and that he wasn't going to be a problem. I even felt bad watching the video. I have security video on. I'll post it at the end of this of just the altercation. I felt bad hitting him because after watching it, it's clear that I could have easily controlled him. I could have probably just even moved around for 2 minutes and he would have gotten bored or lost breath or something, but he wouldn't have stopped doing that. But a lot of people I've spoken to, including Oscar, my boxing teacher, said, "No, man, you used the appropriate force. You're in this situation. You know, he's lucky he actually ran into you because he could have run into another drunk guy that wanted to fight and beat him unconscious and kept beating him and stuff. You know, this dude, you know, he learned a lesson. He fucked around. He found out, as the kids say. But anyway, that was exciting, and so you know." That's got me in the whiskey drinking mood, I guess. I have family in town, and that was fun. You know, I'm not a huge baseball guy. I don't like when guys don't run full speed close to the wall to try to catch the ball that might be foul because they don't want to risk injury in a meaningless game in June or May. I'm used to watching hockey players block 98-mile-an-hour slap shots with their ankles and their teeth for 1/30th of the salary. So I can't get into it. It's a little slow. People say it's nice to go out there and just sit outside and have some beers and stuff. Yeah, I just go to the fucking park or I'll go sit on my deck and watch it. But this was my first game since the pitch clock, though, and I got to tell you, I'm a fan of that. That moved the game along. Cubs won 9-2, though. They beat the Giants, maybe. That was pretty cool. I heard some people at the bar talking the other day about going to the White Sox game and the food. Oh, I had these, you know, I don't know what it was, some bone marrow nachos or some shit. I had sushi in a batting helmet. You know, I had a Johnny Walker Blue, you know, out of a batting glove, a baked Alaska for dessert. Man, that's crazy. I don't want my ballpark to be a Michelin star restaurant. You know, I mean, I guess we're kind of damned now because shit's so expensive that you want something for your $18, but like, I would much rather see a really fucking good baseball team and eat a plain wiener, you know, or some stadium nachos with that melted cheese or something for $8 or $10 or whatever, and drink a shitty beer and have a team that just plays hard and kicks ass than, you know, Nobu at Guaranteed Rate Field. That's just me, though. What else? Oh, a friend of mine, Henry, commented on the last YouTube video about he thought it would be interesting to hear my thoughts on about writing or composing, he said, writing a good song. Now, I forgot to tell you, I got this cute little thank you card the next morning from the neighbors with a bottle of organic wine on it. And it says, "Thanks for being the hero Winnemac and society honestly needs. We hope you're feeling okay today given the circumstances. Have a drink on us for stepping up. With gratitude, Lauren, Alex, and Puddin'." Cute, eh? So I don't know about writing good songs. I think that I think I know what a good song is, and I honestly think I've written a couple good songs. I think I've written some that are close to good, some that are just not good. I can be a little bit lazy when it comes to working on a song. You know, you get the initial idea and you're like, oh, fuck, this is good. And then you're like, oh, fuck, means I have to work on this and dig in on this. And I have always been somewhat of an undisciplined, lazy musician. But I do have one song that I think I wrote that is pretty good. It's called I Still Dream About You. So some of the things that I look for in a good song are the vibe of the music and the mood of the music matches the vibe and the mood and the imagery of the lyrics. Sometimes it's cool to do complete opposites, you know, a hard or kind of a thrashy song with lovely lyrics. Like sometimes for effect, that's cool. But, you know, I like really well used syllabic placement and alliteration, not to where it's noticeable and annoying though. I forget what song it was where, with my boyfriend, my lovely boyfriend, do. In that song, she says Smokey Robinson, just to make it fit in there. And like stuff, there are a few of those songs out there that just every time I hear it, it bothers the piss out of me because that's not how you say that. But metaphor, use of metaphor and flushing a metaphor fully out, I like. Harmonies. Melody and counter melody, you know, a counter melody is maybe, is when you have a song, chord progression, and then the melody of the lyrics and the words, and then maybe you'll have a guitar or a strings or a horn part or something that's doing, which is a little melody in and of its own, inside and alongside, but not the same as, but complementing the main melody and stuff like that. I like that stuff. That's cool. My friend Matt taught me about a thing called the rule of three, which is anytime you do something 3 times, on the third time, it's always good to change it a little bit, just because the ear gets set after 2, and then third, when you throw a twist on that third time, it's really appealing. Some distinct parts in a song. Now, obviously, there are exceptions to this rule, but like a lot of modern music actually is just the same progression. You know, Pink Pony Club, a lot of the Chapel Roan stuff, a lot of this stuff. It's like a 1645, a 1645 progression, and it does not change. Just when the chorus changes, it lifts. When the chorus comes, it lifts. Maybe they add more instruments. The melody changes. It gets bigger, but it's still the exact same chord progression. There's no bridge, or the bridge just brings it down. And maybe like the drums go down or something, but it's still just the exact same chord progression from beginning to end. So I like A parts and B parts and C parts in a song. And also a while ago, I decided I used to write songs where I would be like, I would start with an idea that I wanted when I was feeling something, and the first line or two would be like that, like I woke up feeling whatever, woke up, and then the third line or would start to devolve into things that weren't necessarily how I was feeling at the time, but they were really cool phrases or stanzas, and they were cool, but like they kind of, and it made sense within the story of the song, but it really wasn't about the situation anymore and me. It just took off into like this kind of these lyrics based in what I was saying, but like maybe like, oh, I'm not really feeling like that, but that's a great fucking line, and I'd keep it in. And so like half a year ago, I decided for a while, I'm just not going to write anything, no matter how beautiful or it fits or whatever, if it's not true to me, if I don't feel that in that moment and it's not true to that story or that song. So I have one song that I think would be a good example is I Still Dream About You. Hold on, let me get some Bushmills. I drank some Bushmills with these 2 girls in college one time. They were in college. I was college age, and I lived by them and stuff. And they invited me over to drink Bushmills and eyebrow raise. I don't know what else. but I was young. I was probably 20 or something. I don't know. We just had a bottle of Bushmills, just raw dogged it with 3 of us. And I ended up getting real drunk and puking and passing out, and who knows what could have been, huh? But it's so the verse progression in "I Still Dream About You" is like that, which is pretty. Sun on my face, dried the tears right in place. I'm stuck in bed, trapped in my head. Oh, such a sad, sad case. So that's a pretty chord progression. That's, I think, what they call a cliche. Not in a bad way. It's just something that's used all the time. That's the same. I mean, that's major, D major 7, D7 to a G. It's the same as, something in the way major she moves, major 7, 7 attracts me like no other lover. Something, so that's the same. It's just a beautiful, tried and true progression. Good imagery in the lyrics, I think, and this isn't an all-inclusive checklist of things I have, and they're not really rules either. They're just things that I think that I feel like a good song contains some of these, all of these, some of them, whatever. And I'm not checking these down as I'm writing a song either. It's just they're in you enough that you kind of just do it. And then it goes to the, and forgive me, my falsetto's bad, it's early. And I still dream, descending bass line, about you. And I still dream about you. Back to the verse. I'm the king of inaction. That's me. In this land of distraction. No crown on my head. A broken down throne. A thing she said. And I, back to the chorus, still dream about you. And I still dream, oh, about you. And then the chorus comes. I don't know what this, that was the pre-chorus, I guess. Then the chorus. Tonight, I'm not going to belt this, but tonight I'll hide behind the moon. Metaphor. In my dreams, make time stand still at noon. In my dreams, still pertaining to the content though, but a little B part there, and I'm fleshing out that metaphor of my dream more. They can do anything but forget about you. End of the chorus. I can't forget about you. I can't forget about stoned. Back to the verse. Alone. Scroll through pictures on my phone. At the lake. In my car. Body's close. But smile so far. Back to the pre-chorus. And this is the third time, still dreamed of going to the chorus. So I change it about you right here, just minorly. But the lyric changed. And I still bleed, oh, without you. And then it goes back to the
Tonight I'll hide behind the moon. In my dream, I'll make time stand still at noon. In my dreams, I can do anything but forget about you. And then here comes a completely different part. I can't forget about you. Rule of 3, here comes the third time. I can't forget about you. Oh no, completely different vibe. Then it goes to a counter melody. It's a new melody within the song. Those are really nice harmonized vocals. You could have a cello doing that, a violin, anything. You know. Tonight's gonna be the night. I'm gonna make it right. See, and this section right here is injecting a little bit of hope into this situation. So you're not gonna just when you don't want to hear any more about this fucking guy, woe is me or whatever. He says, you know, I sleep in a bright midnight. He's gonna figure it out. I'm gonna feel brand new. Yeah. I'm gonna forget about you. And the whole time over top. Either vocally or with an instrument, like I said. So it's pretty. And then I'm gonna forget about you. But then right back into I can't forget about you. No, no, no. I can't forget about you. And then here comes an abrupt stop, brings you back into with forget about day after day. I dance this bitter blue ballet. Just enough alliteration there to not be fucking annoying, but still be pretty, I think. So that's kind of how I look at things and how that's my litmus test for a quality song. Like I said, there are always exceptions to the rules. You can think of a lot of them. Jane Says, same chord progression the whole entire song. It's a fucking banger. Am I going to listen to it 100 times, though, over and over again? No, when it comes on, I'll be like, oh, this is good. And maybe I'll get halfway through it, and I'll be like, cool. But anyway, that's it. I hope you have a great day. And this is where the day takes a turn. Love y'all. Be well. Sippin' and strummin'.